proud father of 2, loving husband. The Instagram bio that revealed my boyfriend's secret family of 5 years. I, 28F, never thought I'd be writing this post, but I need to get this off my chest. The past month has been the most devastating period of my life, and I'm still trying to process everything that's happened. I discovered that my boyfriend of 8 years, the man I planned to spend my life with, has been living a complete double life with another family for the past 5 years. It all started on what seemed like any ordinary Tuesday evening. I was working late on my laptop, going through some work emails when an Instagram notification popped up. It was one of those people you may know suggestions, and there was his face, my boyfriend's profile picture, but with a different last name. At first, I thought it might be an old account he'd forgotten about. The account was private, but the bio made my heart stop. Proud father of 2, loving husband. Family is everything. I've been with this man since we were 20, practically our entire adult lives. We met during sophomore year of college, started dating after a semester of friendship, and moved in together after graduation. He works in pharmaceutical sales, which requires frequent travel, usually 3 to 4 days a week covering different territories. I never questioned it because his company is well known, and I've met his colleagues at various company events and dinners. Everything seemed perfectly normal. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept staring at that Instagram bio, trying to convince myself there had to be some explanation. Maybe it was a fake account? Someone using his picture? But deep down I knew. The next morning, I called in sick to work and started digging deeper. Through mutual friends on Facebook, I found another account, and there he was. The profile was semi-private, but I could see enough. Photos of him with a wife and 2 children, a 4-year-old boy and a 2-year-old girl. Family vacation pictures. Christmas morning photos. Birthday celebrations. The oldest photos dated back 5 years. As I scrolled through these glimpses of his other life, everything started making horrible sense. All those business trips had a new meaning. His strict schedule that never varied. The way he always had an excuse for why we couldn't spend holidays together with his family. They're traditional and won't accept us living together before marriage. How he always changed the subject when I brought up marriage or children. Why he was so protective of his phone and always kept it face down. The separate work phone he claimed he needed for client calls. The more I looked, the more evidence I found. LinkedIn showed he'd been working the same sales territory for years. A territory that perfectly covered both our city and theirs, just 2 hours apart. His work schedule was actually carefully divided between 2 families. When he told me he was on business trips, he was with them. When he told them he was traveling for work, he was with me. I spent the next 2 days in a daze, gathering evidence and trying to decide what to do. Every memory of our relationship was being rewritten in my mind. Our first vacation together. Had he just come from a trip with her? The Christmas he surprised me with a romantic dinner. Was it because his other family was out of town? Even our anniversary dates seemed suspect now. Were they chosen to avoid conflicts with his other life? I waited until his next home day to confront him. I still remember sitting on our couch, hands shaking, screenshots ready on my phone. When he walked in with that same easy smile he's given me for 8 years, my stomach lurched. He leaned in to kiss me, like any normal day, and I turned away. Who are they? I asked, showing him the family photos on my phone. The transformation in his face is something I'll never forget. It was like watching a mask crack. He didn't try to deny it. Didn't try to make up excuses. He just sat down heavily on our ottoman, put his head in his hands, and said, "I can explain." But his explanation only made everything worse. He met her 6 months after we started dating, through a work conference. Got married 3 years later. Had 2 kids. Built a whole other life just 2 hours away. His job in pharmaceutical sales was real, but he had turned it into the perfect cover to maintain both relationships. He had organized everything with military precision: 2 phones, 2 social media accounts, separate email addresses, even a detailed calendar system to make sure he never mixed up stories or dates between his 2 lives. The level of organization it took to maintain this deception for 5 years makes me physically ill. He had created elaborate systems to keep track of everything. Different credit cards for different relationships. Separate sets of friends. He even kept a notebook with details about conversations, so he wouldn't mix up what he had told to whom. The methodical nature of his deception was almost as horrifying as the deception itself. The worst part was listening to him try to justify it. He started crying, saying he loves both of us, that he couldn't choose, that he never meant to hurt anyone. He actually suggested we could work something out, as if I would ever agree to knowingly be part of his twisted arrangement. When I asked him how he could do this to his children, he had the audacity to say they were too young to understand anything was wrong. I kicked him out that night, packed whatever belongings he had at my place into garbage bags, and left them in the hallway. Called a locksmith, and had the locks changed the next morning. Blocked him on every platform I could think of. Then I sat in my apartment and cried until I had no tears left. The next few days were a blur of revelations. I found out he had been taking money from our joint account to support his other family. He had been lying to his parents about why he wasn't married yet, telling them I was the one who wanted to wait. He had even created fake business trips to cover the times when he needed to attend important events for either family. Then came the hardest decision, whether to tell his wife. After 3 days of agonizing over it, I knew she deserved to know the truth, just like I had deserved to know. I found her work email through LinkedIn and sent her everything. All the evidence, photos of our life together, timestamps, bank statements, everything. I included my phone number but told her I would understand if she didn't want to talk. She called me that same night. We talked for hours. She had her own suspicions over the years, but he always had the perfect excuse. Supposedly late-night client calls were actually calls with me. Weekend business conferences were times spent at my place. Like me, she had trusted him because everything else about him seemed so reliable and honest. The aftermath has been brutal. She's filed for divorce. I'm pursuing legal action over the joint property we invested in together. His company is investigating him because he falsified some of his travel reports to cover his double life. His family is devastated. Apparently, they had no idea about me, though they did occasionally question why their son wasn't married yet at his age. The past month has been a carousel of lawyer meetings, therapy sessions, STD tests, thankfully negative, and long conversations with friends who are as shocked as I am. I've had to explain the situation to my family, my friends, even my boss, because suddenly I needed time off for legal meetings and court dates. The hardest part has been dealing with the emotional aftermath. How do you process that 8 years of your life was partially a lie? That the future you planned was built on a foundation of deception? I keep questioning everything. Were there signs I missed? Red flags I ignored? Looking back, there were plenty. He never wanted to take photos together for social media, claimed he was private. Always had a reason why I couldn't come on business trips, company policy. Was adamant about keeping our relationship off social media, valued privacy. Changed the subject whenever I brought up marriage. Always had his phone on silent and face down. Had strict rules about which friends were work friends and which were personal friends. Never wanted to spend holidays with his family. Always had an excuse for why we couldn't move to a bigger apartment or buy a house. But when you trust someone, you don't want to see the signs. You make excuses. You rationalize. You believe them because the alternative is too painful to consider. The worst moments are the quiet ones when I'm alone with my thoughts. I'll catch myself wondering what he's doing, then remember that I never really knew what he was doing. Every memory is tainted now. Every happy moment comes with the question. Was he with them the day before? The day after? His wife and I have kept in touch. There's something therapeutic about talking to the only other person who understands exactly what this feels like. We're both seeing therapists, both trying to rebuild our lives. She has the harder job, explaining to 2 small children why daddy doesn't live with them anymore. He's still trying to contact both of us. Sends emails from new addresses begging for forgiveness, asking for a chance to explain himself better. Says he's in therapy now, that he knows he needs help. His latest email said he's realized he has a sex addiction, and that's why he did this. As if that explains or excuses maintaining 2 separate lives for 5 years. I'm posting this because I need to know I'm not alone. Has anyone else discovered something this devastating? How did you move forward? Right now, it feels impossible to trust anyone again. Every potential relationship seems like another opportunity for betrayal. Edit. Thank you all for the overwhelming support. Some additional details people have asked about. Yes, we've both gotten tested for STDs, all clear. Yes, we're both in therapy. His family knows everything now, and they're supporting his wife and kids. We've both filed police reports about the financial fraud. I'm moving to a new apartment next month. Too many memories in this one. Both of us have restraining orders in process due to his continued attempts to contact us. Edit 2. To those asking if I ever suspected anything. There were moments, but he was incredibly clever at explaining everything away. He had an answer for every question, a reason for every unusual circumstance. He used his real job in sales to create the perfect cover story, and because parts of it were true, the company, the colleagues, the territory, it made the lies harder to spot. TLDR. Discovered my boyfriend of 8 years has been married for 5 of those years with 2 kids. Used his traveling sales job as cover to maintain 2 completely separate lives. Both his wife and I have left him and are pursuing legal action. Still trying to process how to move forward after such a massive betrayal.